We'll talk about it on microphone. We'll turn it.
Save it.
Good ideas are like hummingbirds. They die after a certain amount of wing flaps. What if they only have a certain number of heartbeats? What if I think of 3 cool things and then I run out when I turn 47 and they fire me? Is that how ideas work?
I think that's exactly how I think that should be the name of our show. Ideas are like hummingbirds.
Ideas are like hummingbirds, everybody.
.com.
Welcome to Ideas are like hummingbirds. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Jeff.
Still testing this thing. Still getting your feedback.
Looking for titles.
Even though Ideas are like hummingbirds.
We don't know.
The .com isn't taken. Well, the .com is taken, but the .net is not taken. And I feel like the .biz is really where you want to be.
Oddly, the .org is thriving.
I don't like you saying that org is thriving because it sounds too much like an organ throbbing.
My organ is thriving.
Yeah, like phonetically, I don't like the idea of a thriving org.
Well, you're the one who brought up hummingbirds. If you didn't want my organ to thrive, you shouldn't have brought up hummingbirds. They're beautiful, majestic creatures.
How's your feeder going? Are they coming to your feeder?
Yeah, you put a little sugar water in there. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. They're beautiful creatures.
I don't want you to think that you're getting old.
But that's it.
And that's it. That's all I have to say. There's something cool and hip and young that you did want to talk about, though.
Yeah, I notice just sitting here with you that you are not wearing a watch.
No.
What's it going to take to get you into a technology watch?
What do we got to do to get you to drive out of here in a watch?
I want to see. Just tell me what's it going to take.
You're talking about Android wearables.
I'm talking about Android wearables and wearables in general because it evidently that's the next step we're headed towards. And I want to know. I think you're anti.
I'm anti. I'm not anti. I'm anti. Whatever the first generation of this thing is going to be.
Well, that's a cop-out.
Maybe second, maybe third. I'm probably anti for quite a while, is I guess what I'm getting at.
Right.
I feel like in the future, in the far-flung future, we're all wearing technology and it's great and I can picture it in my head, you know.
How do you picture it in your head? This is what I want to get at. What's it going to take to get you into a watch?
I don't know.
What does it need to be?
So here's my thing about the watch. I wanted to love the Pebble when it came out.
Yeah.
I wanted to love, way back in the day when Microsoft had those weird spot watches. Like, I kind of wanted to be into those.
Yeah.
Here's what I like.
Fallout's.
Yeah, Pip-Boy.
Pip-Boy, there you go.
Wear a Pip-Boy on my arm. Here's what I like about it. There's a certain problem right now with sitting in front of somebody and having conversations. And by that somebody, I mean me. I mean, I am the worst at this.
Believe me.
I am the dude that's phone up, phone down, phone up, phone down all the time.
Right.
Right? I'm that guy. I like the idea of wearables as I'm not constantly doing that to people. I can just look at quick information. But back before cell phones, the universal signal for I don't care what you're talking about was literally looking at your watch.
Yes.
And we're just bringing that back. I want to know what it does for me that just pulling my phone out of my pocket doesn't do.
It prevents you from having to pull your phone out of your pocket.
Okay.
That's a thing.
I guess it's a thing. Is it a thing?
It's annoying as hell to pull your phone out of your pocket to check the time, to check to see who that buzzing is caused by. Who wants to get a hold of me now? Who am I ignoring and not getting back to now?
What happens when people in my neighborhood start wearing the cool Google Pocket watches? And pulling them off on their chain out of their vest pockets and opening them up to see who texted
Maybe
them.
that's where we need to go is monocles and
that's
digital.
Where it's going to go. I like the watch better than...
I'm the digital train conductor, see? Oh, we got to keep these trains on time. Let's just check my email.
I feel like it will happen in my neighborhood. It will happen. I like it better than Google Glass for sure. I feel like Google Glass was a step in the wrong direction right now.
Why? Because it's on your face?
Because it's on your face. It is obtrusive looking. That's the biggest thing. If the watch can look like a watch, that's fine.
Well, did you see the Moto 360?
It does. It looks like a watch.
It looks like a watch.
And that's the thing. Google Glass was like, look at me. I'm a dick.
Yeah.
Look at me. I'm a dick. Like, I love the idea of having Minority Report heads-up displays in my eyes eventually. But the fact that I'm number one showing it off, the fact that I'm number two constantly tapping it, people who are wearing glass are always tapping it. And you know that you're talking to them and they're tapping through notifications.
Let me ask you this
it's
question.
Such a douchebag thing.
I'm so curious about this douchebag thing because especially somebody like you who lived in San Francisco the last couple of years.
Yep.
When this was all happening.
Brooklyn before that, Silver Lake now.
Right.
I've been embedded with the douchebags for quite a while. I'm like the gorillas in the mist. I'm the Jane Goodall of douchebags. I'm around them all the time.
Observing their behavior.
I think they're beautiful, majestic creatures.
Maybe falling in love with them a little.
I've gotten them to accept me as one of their own, and I respect their vital and fragile ecosystem.
Right. Okay, so as somebody who's experienced
and also,
that,
I'm a little douchey. There, I said it. Go on.
you don't have to tell the people that; they pick it up.
Yeah.
It's in the air. What was my question? Oh, do you think the douchebag factor was inevitable, or do you think it was? I'm saying, what came first, the douchebag or the egg? Do you think that it was because the way Google rolled out the product and gave it to a select group of people and made them feel special and made them feel like, oh, look at me, I got the
No.
I think it was inevitable.
I think it was. I think it's product design to a certain extent, because there are things that you can put out that people use all the time that don't automatically go, hey, look at me.
Yeah.
People were wearing Fitbits and they were checking their Fitbits all the time, and it's like, oh, you're wearing a Fitbit, but it doesn't bug me that you're wearing a Fitbit because it's this little wristband. It's fine. It's unobtrusive. It's whatever. Google Glass is literally designed to be, hey, look at me.
Right.
And even the bolt this on to your frames sort of thing that they're coming up with, where you have normal looking glasses and you put your Google Glass on it, and it's like, no, I have normal looking glasses with a Tiger R-Zone attached to the left. You know what I mean? Like a Virtual Boy on one of the lenses.
Right.
And that's what I have.
Right. So your roommate?
My boyfriend.
Oh, he's your boyfriend.
It took so long. That's the funniest part about that, if you're listening. This was a man coming home to his own house, and it took him 78 seconds to open the door. That's the funniest part about
you
that.
You powered right through that, though.
I was like...
You're like, still going to describe it.
Because here's what I thought. I thought, this is a man opening his own door. It'll be over momentarily.
and let's set the scene, because your back was to the door. I was watching it all happen, and it was hilarious.
I picture just Jerry Lewis or a Matthew, or even a Matthew Perry in a movie, just trying to get the key into the lock, and it's just not happening. It's like falling through his fingers like 87 times.
It's pretty accurate.
Like,
pretty
I just
on point.
really picture that going on.
So tired. He was so tired, and he just wanted to get in the house, and he wondered why people were talking in his house. Yeah. It's okay.
No, I think that Google Glass has a problem design. Visually, I think this watch doesn't have a problem design. I think now you've got to convince me that the watch is doing something that I enjoy, that I feel like I need, that makes me want to wear a watch when I haven't worn a watch in a decade.
Well, that's the problem. Is there's a whole generation of us who I don't wear a watch either.
Yeah.
And if I did wear a watch, it wouldn't be to tell the time. It would be a fashion thing. And the Moto 360 is a sharp looking watch, and the functionality is pretty cool, as from what I've seen on that video that they released from Google I/O.
The idea of watch as fashion now, though, is like, there's a certain demographic of dude who wears a watch fashionably, and it's expensive watch guy.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like expensive watch guy. Expensive watch guy also always feels like he needs to have steak at dinner. Expensive watch guy is like, either he drives either a BMW or an Audi, and that's really all he's willing to look at.
Right.
You know, he's not even buying like insanely cool sports cars. There's just like a specific guy. He's got a blazer and a collar but no tie. He looks like Don Matrick.
He's the guy who hires us for things.
Yeah. He's a guy who hires me to host a thing, and he's just like...
Doesn't understand it, really?
I just really love what you do. Listen, man, like, the brand is really happy with it, and it's great. You know, you got to come out to the place in Tahoe at some point.
Right.
I love what you do. Love what you do. Do you? Have you ever watched it? I don't even care. You don't need to say that to me.
Right.
That's the guy who wears a watch right now. So how do you take that back?
Well, you make it... as you said, it's functionality. Functionality is the key. If there's something cool that it does, And I had a Pebble for a while when I was doing Always On. I dug it just because I never missed a text. I miss texts all the time just because I don't feel it or don't hear it. Never missed a text, which is cool. Mm-hmm. Easy to check things, which is cool.
Yeah.
But it didn't. There wasn't a +1 to what it did. It was just easier messaging of what my phone already did.
Yeah, and I think for me and for a lot of people, that's going to be the big question. What's the problem with taking my phone out of my pocket? I have no issue taking my phone out of my pocket. If I sit down, I lay my phone down on the table in front of me. It's got to do something. It's got to do something that makes me go, yeah, I don't need that at all.
And I think the problem is
pull my phone out of my pocket.
The problem is that even doing the thought experiment of what, in a wild imagination, what would that thing be? I can't come up with anything. That I can't think of the thing that, like, people talk about monitoring, self-monitoring.
Cool. Well, let's put them into mass production. This is going to be great.
Yeah, it's not. There's no monitoring that would make me need to buy it. But I also didn't think I wanted a tablet, and I fucking love my tablet.
I thought I wanted a tablet, and then it turned out that I didn't want a tablet. Actually,
I love my tablet. I use my tablet. It's the first thing I use in the morning, and it's the last thing I use at night. I
pictured like Minority Report style video editing and stuff on my tablet. Like I was really like, I'll just shoot on my DSLR and I'll put it in on my tablet, or we'll record a podcast on a tablet. You can't do that. It's a pain in the ass.
Right.
It's so hard. I do I'll read stuff on it. I read comics on it. I watch it. But if I didn't have a tablet, I wouldn't be like, man, I should get a tablet. Like, that's not a thing that I worry about.
But if you want to look something up on the internet, do you walk over to a computer or do you pick up a tablet?
Now that they've got like MacBook Airs and like Ultrabooks and things like that, it's just like beep boop bop. It's totally fine.
It is like beep boop bop.
It's just like beep boop bop, dude. No, I think, the thing that value adds for me for the Android Wear watch is I do like the heart rate monitor. I think that's cool because I am a person who keeps track of steps.
Right.
So
you have a volatile heart. You have a big heart.
I have an arc reactor. It's got an API, and I'd like to always know the power level of my arc reactor.
Yeah, very helpful.
How close are the shards of shrapnel to
Getting
my
closer
left
every
ventricle
day.
right now? Better live large because every day you get one step closer to death. Android Wear. The heart rate thing is kind of cool.
Kind of cool ain't cutting it in our scenario.
It's not cutting it, though. I want to know what happens on my watch. You know what it is? I think it's something that NFC still hasn't done, which is I want it to be a little bit more, I want us to lean more towards where Japan is, where I just wave my phone and I pay for more things.
Yeah,
right?
that's cool.
I want that to happen. It's starting to happen more and more. If I can do that with like a wave my watch, but at the same time, NFC is kind of proximity. I feel like, once again, why do I need a watch and a phone? I'm trying to figure this out. And if it's just for notifications, which I think it is, I don't need that. I got notifications.
I have thought about this long and hard. I've brought it up in many conversations with many friends. If you could just fathom a need that a watch can fulfill, take out the reality of actually accomplishing it technologically, just what would it be? But the caveat to this is that I also couldn't think of it before there was a tablet. I couldn't think of why I would want one.
And I mean, that's the thing, is before the camera phone, there were all these gags. Like, a video was going around from 2004 this week. That was Ed Helms on The Daily Show talking about a camera that's a phone, and everybody was cracking up.
Right.
Like, cracking up. And now that's most people's walk-around point and shoot camera.
Exactly.
I can be very short-sighted. I'm short-sighted all the time. I'm not seeing 3 things that are going to happen to me today. I don't consider them possible. I'm a self-absorbed asshole. Maybe Android Wearable is the coolest thing in the world. When I look at an Android watch, I think about that thing that you can buy on Amazon that is a AM/FM clock radio with a coffee maker and like a griddle that's the size of one egg.
Put that on your wrist.
Like, I think about that as what Android Wearable is to me. It's like, it's one more thing, and it's like, did they really need that one more thing?
What about this idea? What if wearables are a red herring and they're just a stopgap until you get to inject it into my neck?
Look, inject it into my neck. I'm ready.
Yeah?
Look, the second there's a contact lens, that's where it's at.
But that doesn't solve your I'm down in my phone, I'm up in my... Now you're go cross-eyed, and I'm like, are you looking at your contact lens?
No way, man.
Are you? Because we were having a conversation, and you kind of went cross-eyed a little bit.
Listen, of course not. By the way,
what did I just say?
I saw that your birthday is coming up in 3 days, 14 hours, and 23 minutes. And I was just wondering.
Oddly accurate.
Did you still want those 3 things that are first on your Amazon wish list? And by the 3 things, I mean the AM/FM clock radio, with the coffee maker, and the egg griddle.
Yeah, that's one thing.
The Android watch. Or the
dig for it, or
the AeroPress to make
hummingbird,
coffee. Or the hummingbird feeder. Did you still want those 3 things?
Yeah. It's
also,
so thoughtful of you.
Also, are you going to this party that's 1.7 miles away and starting in 23 minutes?
Yeah. Why do you keep looking at me cross-eyed, though? It seems very strange, but that is super thoughtful of you. I appreciate it.
Well, I'm a very thoughtful guy, Jeffrey. I mean, that's like I do when the contact lens is up and it's in my eye and the world looks like a Philip K. Dick / Ubisoft title,
right?
And I'm like literally getting the information I need. Like, turn left. You've got a thing in 15 minutes. Here's who this person is. I see you're trying to remember their face. Yeah, that's cool. And when it's completely unobtrusive, that's when I want it. I don't want to be the guy who's tapping his wrist because it's like, oh, I got the new Google Wear. I'm just tapping my wrist to make it do things.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man.
What is it doing? Oh, it's doing the same shit my phone does, but like much lower resolution.
But it's strapped to me.
I don't need it. When they show me something, and I'll say the same thing I said about, about an iPhone, about an iPad, about everything. About every gadget. I'm turning into a cranky old dad. This is what happens when you host gadget shows for a couple of years and people throw everything in your face. You learn that it's like, okay, show me the thing it does in a way that simplifies my life. It has to do something, and that thing has to either be new,
right,
or it has to do it in such a way that it simplifies my life quantifiably. An Android watch does not do that for me. Mm-hmm. It is no different than leaving my phone on the table. It's no different than I'm sitting at work and my computer screen is right up in front of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
no, I know. I can't think of anything either.
And it's like, what will happen, though, is somebody will come up with that thing. Because somebody always does. Yeah. I forget what the first iPad thing is that made me get an iPad, but there was something that came out, and it was like, and it might have been Comixology. It might have been the fact that, like, iMovie was finally released when they did the iPad 2. It was like, here's iMovie. Something came out, and I was like, all right, this looks like it now does most things that I need my computer to do, but smaller, lighter, and it goes everywhere. I get it now.
The iPad, honestly, it just made surfing the web better. Mm-hmm. It just made it easier, more intuitive, and quicker.
Well, and it's like the iPhone. Everybody had an iPhone, and I was like, that's great. Do you know when I wanted an iPhone? When it had apps, when it had actual things that you could do without being on an internet connection. Right. That you could bring up, that you could actually make. Like, somebody is going to figure out what needs to pop up on the screen of this watch, or what's missing from the phone, or a way to interface. Some clever developer will do that. But until they do that, I'm not a guy who's just going to be like, I'm ordering this to be an early adopter. I feel like all the early adopter is gone from me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not that guy anymore. I have a box of early adopter problems.
And a bitch ain't one. I don't know, man. I wish I could come up with something to challenge you on that with, but I can't. Yeah. I think maybe you and I have to just go and raise hummingbirds together in our...
If you could tell you by a movement sensor if there was a hummingbird at your feeder, so you didn't have to sit on the back porch at all times, or like what the level of sugar water is in the feeder.
Yeah, we could be humming bros.
Humming bros.
That's probably not the best way to describe that. Probably.
I feel like humming bros is something different on Urban Dictionary.
It's a temporary title.
It's a
placeholder.
Ideas are like hummingbirds or humming bros. Those are the two titles that we've come up with so far. I don't know that they perfectly encapsulate what we're talking about here. If you've got a better idea, we would love to hear it. You can tweet at us. I'm at @acarboni. He's at hummingbirdlover474.
There's 473 other ones of us, and we are strong, tight-knit community on Twitter.
They're on Google Groups. They're checking out their Android Wear. When's the next feeder meetup?
That's right.
Feed up is what they call it.
Feed up, yes. Yes. We get together, see some hummingbirds, high five.
Maybe whittle a little.
Yeah, well, it's optional.
Yeah.
That's optional.
You don't have to love whittling.
Yeah.
But you have to love hummingbirds.
the newsletter says, hang out with us.
No, it doesn't. Goodbye.
It might.
Goodbye.